Hey, it's me again! It's Reuben from FFR Radio, and I'm here to tell you that this episode is going to contain spoilers for Friends and the marginally superior How I Met Your Mother. Enjoy!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to FFR Radio. I hope you've all had a great week since we last saw you and that everyone is staying safe and well. The feedback from the last couple of episodes has been great. Thanks especially to those of you that have sent any messages, pictures, even videos of you watching Kung Fu Panda. I really feel all the love in the room. I hope you enjoy this episode coming up now and that it inspires you just as much as the last one did. And I will see you again at the end. Bye.
So, Reuben.
So, an unpopular opinion. So, for those of you who don't know me, listeners,
Shout out to those people who don't know Reuben.
Oh, God, shut up!
Who am I? Jesus. Yes, so I'm a big fan of the American sitcoms. You know, I like Rules of Engagement, I like The Big Bang Theory, I quite like Friends. But there's not one I love more than my mastermind topic, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, God.
No way have you got a mastermind topic. You are a nerd.
If I were to go on Mastermind, How I Met Your Mother would be my topic. It's like...
I don't doubt it.
Anything in universe, I think I could answer. I used to play this game with Nairn, who was Wendy when I was Peter Pan.
Shout out to Nern.
Nern. Shout out to Nern.
Shout out to Nern. And she's fantastic because she's. This isn't the only reason. She's also a great person, but she sends me pictures of. She'll send me like a picture or a small clip of an episode of How I Met Your Mother and go, which one's this? And generally, I can get it.
Oh dear, what a sad little life, Jane.
I know, right?
What did you call him?
Jane.
It's from Come Dine With Me.
Come dine with me.
Dear Lord.
Sam's mastermind topic. Come dine with me.
Yeah, I'm the master of doing that. You know the clip where he puts the whisk in his mouth?
That makes me sick. Nah, that's horrific.
Vile.
Absolutely.
What was he thinking?
So, Reuben, tell us why How I Met Your Mother is actually better than Friends, then.
Yes, cool. So, in terms of superiority to Friends, obviously, I just want to precursor this with I like Friends. I don't think it's a bad show. It's problematic, very much, but anything written in the 90s is pretty problematic. Like, you can... which doesn't excuse it, but it explains it without excusing it, I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So my first point is linking in relation back to Kung Fu Panda, the trilogy.
Oh?
You said that you liked how it's so it's well-rounded and it fills into itself, and how the guy that Poe was fighting in the first one is the same guy as in the third one. How I Met Your Mother is a very, sort of by definition, it's an extremely well-rounded narrative because it focuses so much on flashbacks that the entire series is a flashback of Ted explaining to his children how he met their mother.
Can I stop you straight away?
You can.
You can't call How I Met Your Mother well-rounded with that ending.
I will address the ending.
That is not well-rounded at all in any way.
I also know the ending for this.
It's like a circle with a bit. It's like a letter Q. It's like there's a circle and there's just a bit that comes off, and you know we can get rid of that and just make it a circle. It's fine.
But Reuben, there is no character growth of Ted from the very first episode to his reaction of the end of the very last episode. There is none.
I beg to differ entirely.
I'm on episode 5, so could you try and not spoil it?
No, we can't not spoil it. We can't not
explain
spoil
the
it.
ending.
Oh, go on then.
Scott.
I'll find out anyway.
Oh yeah, can we just talk about How I Met Your Mother, but can we not as well, please?
Can we just not mention How We Met the Mother?
Yeah.
Stunning. Yeah, I am inclined to disagree about the character growth of if we compare, because E4 when they were advertising How I Met Your Mother, they compared it to Friends. They immediately went, we're going to draw the likeness between these two because it's
because it was
a group of friends,
almost an exact replica.
It's a group of friends living in Manhattan, going through issues for about 10 years.
Yeah, it's a complete copy.
It's not a complete copy because it's better. It's an improvement.
Rip-off.
So I wouldn't even call it a rip-off. It takes things about Friends that were good, and it changes things that were like less realistic, or changes things that could make it better, really.
It does take the bad things and make them worse, though, in parts.
I'm sensing a lot of tension between you two with this.
I've got a feeling that Sam doesn't
believe
in my views.
Chill and I'll just chip in every now and again with a witty line.
I don't completely disagree that it might be better in parts. Overall, I do think Friends is a better show.
Well, I'm here to prove you wrong, Sam. That's what I'm here
keep trying.
For.
Keep trying.
That's where I am. So regarding Ted as a person, at the beginning he holds up the blue French horn, and he's being super forward all the time and all this. And you watch throughout the 9 seasons, much as he's still reckless and he still tends to put himself in front of other people, and he still does all that sort of stuff. He does change as a person, and he stops being such a little. I don't want to swear in the recording, so I'm very. He stops being.
Reuben, you've done it before. There's no point giving up now.
Ted stops being a little bitch, right?
Okay.
As much as he was in the first season, and whereas if you look at Ross, Ross never finds his chill. Ross just continues being a horrendous person.
That's true.
Rachel becomes a self-sufficient adult with a job, but she's still the same sort of like ditzy girl that she was when she ran away in her wedding dress. Joey's still a lovable moron actor. Yeah, he's still just Joey.
Bless Joey.
Whereas, like, if you compare Joey to Barney, as a lot of people do, Barney starts off as a notorious womanizer, and he's kind of like a smart Joey. But then throughout the seasons, he probably has the best character growth from the series.
No, come off it. No way.
Right.
No way.
Right.
He goes from being a notorious womanizer, and he makes some appalling comments in the first. Again, How I Met Your Mother is far from perfect. There's a lot of not okay stuff in there. In the first episode, he's like, "So Lebanese girls," and I'm like, Jesus, okay. But he goes from being that notorious womanizer.
Barney is still just as problematic at the end.
He's still problematic. He's not as problematic as he formerly was.
I might be remembering this wrong. Please correct me if I am. In the last episode, doesn't he get a divorce and it passes over it in like 5 minutes and he's just Barney again?
But then it shows that he's changed after he does his Barney stuff again, and it looks like he's not changed. But then and Scott, this is like a huge spoiler. I'm very, very sorry.
Block your ears, Scott. Block your ears.
For like the very last episode, Barney has a baby.
Yeah.
And having a baby brings back sort of nice, good Barney. He goes from being the womanizer, and he does he tries to do a perfect month where he sleeps with 31 different women in 31 different nights. After his baby's been born, he walks up to a couple of girls in the bar, and they're like, "Do you want to do shots?" And he's like, "Call your parents. Why are you doing shots at like 2 PM?" And it sort of shows that he's finally become a changed person. And what it took wasn't learning to care about a wife like Ted's constantly trying to do for the entire time. He learns to care about a child. He learns about something that means more to him than a committed relationship would, as like in terms of Barney as a person.
As much as that is a nice sentiment, I think it's quite a bad thing to put out there that if you're like this, the only way to like fix yourself is to have a child.
See, I wouldn't say that's the point that it puts across, Sam.
I mean, I understand both of those arguments, though. I understand that. Obviously, I do think that it is a bit of a stretch to say it takes a child to change your ways, but it also shows that when your life is altered due to having a new child in your life, it does make you aware of, right, this needs to change. I can't be like this, because what example am I setting to this new child in my life?
It makes him into a role model in a way that he wasn't previously. He was living an unattached, unexamined life.
Yeah. And
when he finally has somebody to depend on him, because in How I Met Your Mother, women don't depend on their husbands. Like Lily makes her own decisions, and she involves Marshall in the decisions as a partner. But at the end of the day, it's still with her. It's not. She says, "What should I do?" And he says, "Do this." And the same with when, again, sorry about the spoiler, Scott. When Robin and Barney get married, again they act as independent people.
Well, wait, whoa, hang on.
Yeah, I
didn't see that coming.
Well, you wouldn't for episode 5, because Ted's still just consistently, like, terrifyingly trying to get Robin.
Yawn,
classic Ted. But as well, like, Ted is so whiny a lot of the time.
Yes.
And another thing that I like about How I Met Your Mother is that it's the parts of humanity that it reflects on the screen are parts that maybe we don't like as much, but they're still there. It's more realistic than Friends.
But again, even if you think the character arc of Barney and that ending, even if you think that's good, it still passes over it in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't like that about it. I don't like that it was also rushed in the last episode, and it was just like, get the information out.
It really was. It really was rushed.
And I understand why, because by then Ted's met the mother, but like, I would have done it differently.
Like, I also think that the entirety of like meeting the mother, I think they handled so badly.
Regarding how he meets the mother, I like that. Even though at the end the kids are like, you're just trying to tell us that you fancy Aunt Robin.
Yeah, that's...
It's like, yeah, that's...
Is that how it ends?
They released a separate ending because there was such a bad reaction to the first one. It's not great. The new one is better.
Honestly, you can't argue that the ending of How I Met Your Mother was anywhere near as nice as the ending of Friends.
Even the ending of Friends, though, it's... Ross and Rachel are just so unlikable. I watch Friends and I can't bring myself to root for them because like Ross is always playing the victim and he's selfish all the time, whereas Ted is often selfish but sometimes does selfless things, especially for Robin. Like Rachel is just a self-absorbed, vapid, rich kid.
But can't you argue that when you look at the characters in Friends, aren't they a lot more relatable people than the ones in How I Met Your Mother?
It's a lot less silly.
Just because,
like as comical as it is, it's a lot less like slapstick, silly comedy than How I Met Your Mother is.
Yeah, there's How I Met Your Mother gets quite slapsticky, especially season 8 is like prime slapstick. For the first half of season 8, after Robin and Barney get engaged, it's like it stops being so slapstick and it becomes a bit more heartfelt. And
but for a lot of the time, and especially like the flashback scenes and stuff, it's very like slipping on a banana peel comedy.
Yeah, bits of it are.
Yeah.
As I say, it's not perfect, but at the same time, like silly comedy like that, Friends has a song called "Smelly Cat."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the jokes in How I Met Your Mother are like running jokes that take time to build up, and like when they replace drugs with sandwiches, or when Barney's made to wear the ducky tie, when they have the slap bet and Shing Bushing, and the pineapple. Like it
is good. It's a good show.
Yeah, it follows through a lot more. Whereas with How I Met Your Mother, you can enjoy each episode separately, but if you watch them together, it creates its own narrative. Whereas with Friends, it's like you still sort of need to know what's been going on around it to enjoy the episode properly, which with How I Met Your Mother you don't get as much.
I think I said this to Reuben, I think it might have been earlier today. I said that Friends was more kind of wholesome, but How I Met Your Mother was more, I was interested in the plot progression. I think Friends was more charming when I watched it first time round, but now How I Met Your Mother, I'm interested to know what happens later on, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it grips you with this in the first episode when it's like, and this isn't the mother, this is how I met Aunt Robin, we're going to carry on and meet the mother. And as well, Scott, this is going to be a whole last section of spoilers if you want to like take your earphones out. But it follows through neatly with how meeting Robin led Ted to meet the mother, because he meets Robin, he gets with Robin, and then they break up, and that's why he gets the butterfly tattoo. And by getting the butterfly tattoo, he meets Stella, and then he breaks up with Stella, which makes Tony feel bad for him, and then Tony gives him the job, which is where he nearly meets the mother but does meet Cindy, and then Cindy introduces him to the mother eventually. And so it follows through like that.
There's a lot of names in that which I've not yet met on this journey of
Forget
watching.
them. Forget them instantly.
You forget them instantly. Stella is season 3. Tony, I think, is early season 4. And you don't meet Cindy until like later on in season 4, maybe season 5. So you've got time. Don't worry about that.
Despite any arguments about like technical stuff and like storyline based stuff, the main thing that I'm going off is during my second year of uni, I binge watched both Friends and How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
And I enjoyed Friends more.
What about Friends did you enjoy more?
Like, I just enjoyed it as a programme more than I enjoyed How I Met Your Mother as a programme. Everything taken into account, like pros and cons of them.
Yeah.
By the end of How I Met Your Mother, especially like in the last season, I was getting like, oh, is it over yet? I was getting a bit sick.
See, that's the general split that I find between people who watch How I Met Your Mother. Is there's people like me who are like, I'm enjoying the story, and then it ends, and I'm like, okay, that's how it went. And other people were like, why is it not ended yet? Can he not just meet the mother? And he nearly met the mother. Stella was going to be the mother at one point, because the ratings were going down, but then they built back up again.
Yeah.
And so that was why they carried on.
10 seasons of any show is a lot to get through when you're binging something. It's a lot.
There's not even 10 seasons of How I Met Your Mother. There's 10 of Friends. There's 9 of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. However, in the last season of Friends, I was sad that it was over. And I think that is the main thing for me, anyway.
I wasn't even like a huge fan of the ending of Friends, because it's like, he starts it by being after Rachel, and he's always after Rachel, even when she's with Joey.
Yeah.
And he doesn't take Joey's feelings into account, and Joey's like a sweet little bean. Whereas when Barney and Robin get together, Ted, much as he sort of sabotages them, he does so almost as though Ted doesn't even realise what he's doing when he's doing it.
Yeah. And
a lot of it is not him saying, I want Robin to be with me. It's, even though he does acknowledge, there's a point where he says Robin shouldn't be with Barney, she should be with me, and like admits it to himself and to Lily on the roof. But even so, like when Robin's trying to search for the locket to show that her and Barney are supposed to be together, Ted goes and helps her.
Yeah.
And when Barney's gonna propose to Robin, Ted gives Barney his blessing and like stuff like that. He's less self-absorbed than Ross a lot of the time, and I like him more than Ross.
Yeah. Scott, you've been quiet.
I'm trying to think, like, that does sound like a very, very similar storyline to what happens in Friends. For example, with Ross and Rachel, for example, in Series 1, it is very much Ross is chasing Rachel's for her affections, but she keeps bringing home new dates, and you see him get emotional and sad about it, but you also show that no matter what, he's always going to be there for her. So is that not similar to Ted and... is it Robin?
Robin, yeah.
Reuben has something against Ross.
Ross, oh, he's such a pain.
Yeah, I know he's a pain in the backside, I know that, but they are similar scenarios, really. Is it just because... Is it the only reason you don't like Friends is that scenario is because it's Ross?
No,
if it was Joey...
Ross is not a likeable character, Rachel's not a likeable character. The other three, the other four, I always forget Phoebe, Chandler, and Monica and Joey are like, I like them more than the main two.
But right, so that's something to argue with.
And to be fair, I like Marshall the most of the main characters. Like, in both senses, the main characters aren't the ones that I like the most.
I don't think Ross and Rachel are main characters in Friends.
I don't think they get any more screen time than the other four do.
In terms of screen time, maybe not, but the series is still it's a vehicle. It's Friends is a love story about Rachel and Ross.
But it's not, though, because there's Chandler and Monica as well. That's a heavy part of it, them two being together. You get whole episodes of following Phoebe.
But their whole thing happens alongside stuff about Rachel and Ross.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, in Series 1, it is very much Rachel and Ross. But at the end of it, or midway through, whenever Monica and Chandler decide that they like each other, they become a certain centre point in it, and Ross and Rachel then take a back seat.
When I was doing some research on this topic, one of the things that I found was that Friends had actually been praised a lot by critics' reviews and stuff for being what they thought was the first TV series of a pure ensemble cast, where there wasn't any like main lead roles. Whereas in How I Met Your Mother, ensemble. Ted is the obvious lead role.
In some ways, yeah, but like again, he doesn't technically get any more screen time than the other guys.
I think Ted does.
Maybe a little bit more than Robin, because she drops out for like 2 episodes at one point.
And Lily leaves for a while, doesn't she?
Yeah, because the actors were having babies at the same time. How cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Friends, much as it's like they have the 6 main characters, it's mainly about Rachel and Ross. That's how it starts. That's how it ends. The new people that they bring in to join the ensemble last like 1 or 2 episodes, with the exception of everyone's favourite Paul Rudd.
Big up Bruce Willis.
Big up. Yeah, again though, Bruce Willis, he joins in, but he's in and he's out, whereas the characters in How I Met Your Mother that join the gang at different points, like Kevin, like Quinn, like Nora, I still care about them more than people who were definitely side characters in Friends. Like the people that How I Met Your Mother brings in, like the recurring characters and stuff like that, they matter more to the storyline, and they bring more to it.
Okay.
They make sense.
I'm gonna call upon an argument that I've been saving for when I found a particular statement pretty hard or disturbing.
Sure.
One that is pretty inarguable from either side.
Right.
Nah.
What?
Nah.
So you disagree with him then, do you, Sam?
Oh, that's the sentence. I thought you were saying I'm going to bring up my sentence. Never mind.
No. My argument is nah.
He disagrees.
You disagree.
But it is what it is. It's unpopular for a reason because it's wrong.
Yeah.
I've got something I can say in favour of How I Met Your Mother.
Ooh, go ahead.
As I said before, I've watched the first 5 episodes of How I Met Your Mother.
So you're practically an expert by now.
Yeah, but hang on, right. And I've watched the entire of the first series of Friends. And the fact is, Neil Patrick Harris in How I Met Your Mother, his acting alone is far more superior than the acting of Friends in the entire series.
100%.
I don't know why Neil Patrick Harris took that role.
Because it's great. Neil Patrick Harris won a Golden Globe and an Emmy.
Yeah, I know, but I just think the role is like so overly problematic for the majority of the time he's on screen.
He's made it funny. He's made it his own. So his acting in the first 5 episodes of that entire series makes me prefer the first 5 episodes of that series to the entirety of the series of Friends I've watched. I forget that it's Neil Patrick Harris playing that role. I just see him as Barney. Whereas if I watch Friends and I see Ross,
it's David Schwimmer.
I'm always seeing David Schwimmer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm always going to see Matt LeBlanc. And I'm always going to see Courtney Cox. Whereas if I watch How I Met Your Mother, I see Barney Stinson. I don't see Neil Patrick Harris whatsoever. So that alone makes me prefer How I Met Your Mother so far to Friends. Obviously, I could watch the entirety of Friends right now.
So are you saying that you agree with this unpopular opinion, Scott?
I agree with it so far, yeah.
Oh, yes. Look at that. I wasn't expecting that.
Obviously, I could watch the entirety of Friends. My opinion could change if I watch the entirety of Friends, and it could change if I watch the entirety of How I Met Your Mother. But at the moment, in 5 episodes, I'm hooked.
So does this mean that I hold the unpopular opinion that Friends is better?
Yeah, you've got the unpopular opinion.
Is Friends being better the unpopular opinion? I've changed the tide. Oh, have it.
Oh, very good.
I think this might be the first time that we've actually convinced the other person that it's right. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, that's a good place to end that segment, I suppose.
Yeah, and there we go. My unpopular opinion is now a little bit less unpopular.
And that is all we have time for this week. I hope you've enjoyed our ramblings yet again. It would be fantastic if you'd let us know via our social media pages who you agree with, whether you think Friends is the superior show like me, or if you agree with the guys and think How I Met Your Mother takes the top spot. Links to all of our pages will be in the bio of this podcast episode, actually. Thank you for tuning in again, and I can't wait for you to join us on the next episode of Face for Radio. Take care, guys.